Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading. And today is December 22nd, 2023, and today is Friday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, Intel and Facebook, Meta, push and rally to new yearly highs. But first, looking at today's major economic events. So we start out the day at 9 a.m. South African time. First, out of United Kingdom, monthly retail sales number coming out. Now, 3:30 South African time. Out of the United States, we have a PCE Price Index coming out, and that's followed up at 5 p.m. Also from the United States, a Revised UoM Consumer Confidence number coming out. Now, speaking about Monday, it is a national holiday, internationally almost. It's Christmas Day, so the markets will be closed. Now, looking at the various markets, starting out with the Forex symbols, we're watching the Canadian dollar pushing and gaining versus USD. And as we look at the indices, both the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ get a bounce, and looking at commodities, will they be pushing higher, specifically gold and oil? Are they going to continue gaining and pushing out? Now, looking at the stocks, Intel, as mentioned, and Facebook pushing higher. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin testing resistance. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here you go. First with the Canadian dollar. Now, it's significantly gaining versus US dollar. The US dollar is getting weaker because the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ going higher. But the Canadian dollar, for it to get stronger, also requires the fact that oil, because Canada is a huge exporter of oil. So this does affect the price of it. Now look at it. I mean, on a weekly chart, we're almost at our lows of 131, and we're gaining in on it. So it's developing trade. Now, before we get into a developing trade, let's take a look at the Euro USD, which is an unfolding trade. We're back on our highs here on resistance. The question is whether or not we're going to break out higher. That's the question on the table, and that all depends on the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ today. GBP not catching up as much as the euro, so there's a little bit of a difference there. Now jumping into gold, it's pushing higher, 2050. It's really catching up, so this is really an important factor as it looks like it's perking up, and also oil looks like it wants to break out. Okay, so both of them look very bullish at this stage, and they look like they want to challenge the upside of it. Now remember, gold high is really 2078, so we're only about $20-something away from it. So if we continue pushing higher, this may be that final breakout, and that will close above 2078, okay? Because we've hit this area several times, right? But we never closed above it. We never stayed above it. The only time we stayed above it was briefly, just as we were spiking the other week, but we didn't sustain it. Okay, so I'd like to see it being sustained. Now, jumping into the U.S. markets, we're getting a bounce here. Not a massive bounce, but a bounce. About 300 points on the upside. It's now selling off a little bit in pre-market, but it's gotten stronger. Now, what NASDAQ is also didn't retrace that much and is holding on. Now, you might say, this is not that important. Intel's not that important. No, Intel is very important. Intel is one of those companies that are bellwethers, okay? They move the markets, not back in 2020, but they move the markets today because it's the first chain in the production cycle. So Intel is a major maker of chips, and it's really very important to note that. So it's at all-time highs for the year of 2023. Now, it does have way more room to make it back to $64 a share. That's where we were about 2 years ago, but it's making it back on a significant level. Now, looking at Facebook, also trading higher to 353, even making new yearly highs yesterday, okay, as it pushed higher. Now, it's not across the board. I want to emphasize that. Microsoft is perking up, but not making new highs, okay? I'd be a little bit more bullish if I saw it across the board, okay? Apple also, it went down yesterday, okay? Didn't push higher to 199. Hit it, but didn't push out higher. So it might be just rotational moves right now where we have one thing happen, the next thing happen. But remember, we're going into the holiday season, especially, today's going to be a lighter trading day, so just don't push it, in anticipation. Amazon just dwindling right below its highs also, so it's also been very, very strong. Now, another tech that I didn't cover, which I should have covered once I did Intel, was AMD. AMD is one of Intel's major competitors, and it's also on its yearly highs. Didn't push out higher, but it's on its yearly highs and also trading towards that north side. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, pushing that resistance level. We're back at 43,700. Question is, will we rally into the end of the year? So keep tuned and stay on top of this, because if it does, you could play a little bit of a chase because it goes about $5,000 to $6,000. Okay, so that will give it to you if it does break out. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.